I want to be the best, simple and plain. To be the best, you have to win. And that's why I play the game. And that's what drives me.
If I got to fight to get you in the gym, that's a problem. That's a problem. You want players that are gym rats, players that want to be in the gym, that want to work. And then from there, you build on top of that. But if you're lazy, man, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. You're going to make me feel dumber. You're going to lower my level. I don't think so. You can go over there.
You have to keep moving on, because I know a lot of guys who've been number one in the past years, and it just fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. So I have to keep working hard, and hopefully everything will work out. I'll be number one in the future. So I'm going to continue to work hard, and we as a team are going to continue to work hard as an organization the same way. We continue to push and push until we get back to that top.
You start with, what do you want your game to be? What would make your game most unstoppable or hard to deal with? And now you work backwards from there, and you start building it one piece at a time, one move at a time, one counter at a time. So there's a lot.
We flew back to LA that night, and I got home, it's probably like 3 in the morning, and I went down to the high school, which is down the street from our house. And the janitor let me in the gym, and I shot all day. All day. I mean, all day. And this was right after that playoff game. And I didn't leave the gym. I just kept shooting and practicing. I got a chance to let out the steam of disappointing my teammates and millions of fans. I got a chance to let all that out instead of bottling it up and envision that moment over and over. That was a huge something for me, because I felt like everybody had written me off after those air balls. And I was really excited when the schedule came out and I saw we had Utah. Well, I just try to listen to my body, just kind of listen to it. We have a great staff here, and we just work hand in hand and just listen to how my body feels, and just try to respond accordingly. We used to have an All-American camp that I used to go to, and at the time when I first showed, I was a sophomore, and one of the things I would do is, while everybody would be at the cafeteria, eating and doing all sort of stuff, I'd just go back to the gym. I'd just go back to the gym.
They'd be resting, eating.
And they'd see me leave, right? But now you're in a tough position, because you're like, okay, I want to be like, I'm following the kid to go work out, but I know he's working, he's up early, and he's doing all this other stuff. And so that was my way of showing them, I may be from the suburbs, but you're not going to outwork me.
Wow.
And I'm mentally going to.
Did someone teach you that?
We really seem to, have bonding and understand that if we want to get to that elite level, we really have to put in the work day in and day out.
With that, but I've worked extremely hard this summer to be able to play at a high level, regardless of the minute, right? If it's 30, if it's 48, I'm prepared to do whatever's necessary, and that's my job to do so.
My parents were great. Growing up, they instilled in me the importance of imagination, of curiosity, and understanding that, okay, if you want to accomplish something, I'm not just going to sit here and say, yes, you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can, but you have to also put in the work to get there, right? So they taught me that at a really early age, man. And when you grow up as a kid thinking that the world is your oyster, all things are possible if you put in the work to do it, you grow up having that fundamental belief.
One of your high school friends said, when I was partying, he was playing basketball. When I was waking up, Kobe was playing basketball before class. How would you describe your dedication to the sport even back then?
Well, I tried to find a balance, right? I tried to do both. I had a great deal of energy. So if there was a school party, something like that, I'd play basketball for a few hours. I'd do what I have to do and have fun doing it. And then I'd go to the party. And I'd show up, I'd have a good time, have fun, and I'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, working out and training the next day. So I tried to do both.
40-point games, 60-point games in 3 quarters. So talk about what led up to the big monster 81-point game.
Well, it was 1,000 makes a day in the summertime. you know, and going through things just as I would during the game. So, you know, I knew exactly where my positions were within the triangle and where the shots would be coming from. So everything that I did throughout the course of my training was literally simulating that. So it was all game shots. So when it came in the game, things were just automatic because I'd put my body through it before. You know, sometimes you get in the gym and you work out and you work on ball handling, you work on shooting, but none of it's really within a structure of what you will be doing in the game. For me, it wasn't like that. It was literally carbon copy of what I'd be doing. So by the time the season came around, it was all just muscle memory.
I understand there's different levels of focus and commitment to a craft. I get that completely. Guys want to go out and have a good time. I get that completely. However, you're going to do that and you show up to work the next day, you better be ready, right? If you're going to do that, you better come to practice and you better be ready to go. And if you're not, then I'm going to let you know. And you know, I think the message was sent pretty clearly. Rest at the end, not in the middle. And that's something I always live by.
Yeah, we're gonna work hard. You know, that's what training camp's about, preseason's about, is working hard, getting in shape, getting in condition. And not so much about the games, but just, you know, the game is just another way to kind of, you know, get your exercise, get your win, get your rhythm. So we're pushing it in practice all week.
But it's simple. Like if you do the math on this, right? Like if you're thinking about how often kids are playing, right? And I tell this to my daughter and my daughter's team as well that I coach. It's a simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, you know, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that.
It's
not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
you're accelerating.
You make quantum leaps, man.
Just doing
If I could work that hard every day, with being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, you know, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but you know, if you live your life to just get better every single day and do that for 20 years, I mean, what do you have?
Pressure's a funny thing. You know, I always felt like the people that feel pressure are the people that cut corners or really didn't put the work in. If you know you've put in all the work, what is there to be nervous about? You've done it thousands of times before. You just go up there and do it one more time. Really a question of what side of the fence do you want to be on? You know, do you want to be nervous in those situations, or do you not want to be nervous in those situations? Do you want to look at pressure as a normal sport occurrence, like breathing is to every single day of your life? Then you put in the work. And if you don't, man, that's on you.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. You always want to outwork your potential. You know, as hard as you believe you can work harder than that.
Well, because you just focus on the day that you're playing. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like whatever you're doing in that moment, that's what you're doing. That's your sole focus. So you don't think about, you know, I have to do this for another year, or I have to do this for another 2 months. Just think about that moment. What are you doing at that moment in time? You focus on 100%. That happens to me, like when I'm running, when I'm working out, I'm running. I do a lot of work on the track. And I'm running, and I'm really tired. But the finish line is all the way on the other side. And if I look at where I have to run, I get even more tired. So what I do is I just look down. I just look down, I just look at my feet just moving. And then the next thing you know, I look up and I'm crossing the finish line. You move with it. The strength and flexibility and the strength and acceptance. Like in my game now, I could say, you know, I want to be able to jump as high as I used to. I want to be able to be as fast as I used to. I have to be, No, I don't jump as high as I used to. That's okay. I'm not as fast as I used to be. That's okay too. I'll figure out another way to do it.